The Republican governor of Florida making news today. Ron DeSantis' administration is blocking a new advanced placement or AP course on African American studies in high schools. Here's what the State Department of Education wrote in a letter to the College Board, which administers AP exams. Quote, the content of this course is inexplicably contrary to Florida law and significantly lacks educational value. No mention in the letter of what law would be violated by the course or what in the curriculum was objectionable. But a DeSantis spokesman tells CNN the course, quote, excuse me, leaves large, ambiguous gaps that can be filled with additional ideological material, which we will not allow. Joining me now, two CNN political commentators, Bakari Sellers, former state representative of South Carolina, host of the Bakari Sellers podcast, also former Trump campaign advisor and now a supporter of Ron DeSantis, David Urban. Bakari, what does it say to you that the administration is specifically, excuse me, I'm coughing, doesn't identify what part of the course they object to? We're talking about an AP African American Studies course.
Well, Anderson, I actually think they said all they needed to say. And they said this African American Studies course doesn't have any value. I've been speaking to my friends about this via text, et cetera. And one of them just recently texted me that they're trying to erase our history. And that's exactly what they're trying to do. I mean, this is anti-intellectualism. This is anti-Black racism. This is systemic. That when we talk about systemic racism, this is exactly what we're talking about. It's the way by which we go about ensuring that people cannot learn about the plight and burdens that African Americans in this country went through and go through today. I don't know what voids Ron DeSantis is talking about. I haven't seen the curriculum, but I'm actually an African American Studies major. I'm actually the son of someone who was a director of an African American Studies program at the University of South Carolina, who, oh, by the way, was a member of SNCC and happened to be shot in the civil rights movement. And so I just think it's a damn shame what Ron DeSantis is doing, but nobody's going to stop him because they're afraid of what may be next for Mr. DeSantis.
David, obviously there was a lot of talk about critical race theory, and that was a focus of a target in a lot of states by Republicans. This is African American Studies, which is different. A Democratic Florida state senator tweeted that Florida currently has AP classes for European history, Japanese language and culture, German language and culture, Italian language and culture, as well as Spanish language and culture, adding, quote, this is a quote, it's crazy how AP African American Studies made the chopping block in Florida. To that, what do you say?
Yeah, so Anderson and to Bakari as well. Bakari, I did, believe it or not, read the 82-page syllabus today, which I could send to you. And the letter that was sent to the AP board says, listen, we dismiss this as presented. In the future, if the College Board would like to work with us on something that would meet our criteria, we'd be happy to consider it again. And from what I was told, Anderson and Bakari, this was declined because it sought to teach progressive doctrines such as intersectionality and critical race theory, which are violative of April 2022 law the Governor DeSantis sent, this anti-woke act. I'm not, I'm simply telling you that I've not delved in and read every chapter of the syllabus, but I glanced through it. It's pretty dense. And I'm telling you what the reason was that the state of Florida, Governor DeSantis said that they believe in education and not indoctrination.
Bakari, what do you make of that?
I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, I have a great deal of respect for David Urban, but, we just got done celebrating Martin Luther King's birthday, and you have individuals who say these quotes of, the I Have a Dream speech, et cetera, these famous quotes by King, but they don't even know who he was because we don't teach the history correctly. People whitewash his legacy. They don't talk about the fact that he was a rabid revolutionary. They don't talk about the fact that he was talking about wages, improving the plight of Black folk day in and day out. And I think that the fact that we refuse to teach the accurate history of this country, we refuse to talk about April 4th, 1968, where Dr. King was assassinated, February 8th, 68, the Orangeburg Massacre. We refuse to talk about June of that year where RFK was shot, or the fact that you have all of these Black soldiers coming home from a war in Vietnam being treated like second-class citizens. That's not, something that is a fairy tale. That is a history of who we are. And Ron DeSantis and this administration in Florida are completely ignorant to that fact. Everything we talk about our history and who we are is not critical race theory. My being is not critical race theory. It's American history. Wrap your heads around that. If you're ashamed of it, that's on you. But let's at least educate the youth the correct way about what our history is.
Yeah, Bakari, I'm not arguing with you. I'm just giving you the reasonings that were put forth by the governor's office, and says in the letter saying, as presented, we find this AP course doesn't pass our muster. please come back with us with with another course. Or if you'd like to work with us, we're willing to do that. I'm not sure they're dismissing it out of hand, saying we're not going to do it at all.
David, just politically, does this work for Governor DeSantis? I mean, is this a popular thing, you think, for Governor DeSantis among Republican voters in Florida?
Yeah, look, I think that the governor, right, has taken up this anti-woke, woke comes to die in Florida, right? And he's taken it up pretty aggressively. I'm not quite sure that this may have been rolled out in the best way. I think a lot of explanation should be, a little bit more explaining should have been done on this, because I don't think it's dismissing the AP course out of hand. I think it's just dismissing this particular AP course.
Right. It's just, in general, AP courses are actually sort of the most prestigious in the public education system. AP courses those are the most prestigious courses. It's actually, a lot of attention is actually put into them and thought is put into them. They're their advanced placement. So it's often the students who have excelled the most who are able to even qualify for those courses. It's interesting that this is probably I don't know how many AP courses the DeSantis administration has taken issue with, but I'm probably guessing not any others.
I would guess that you're correct, Anderson. And again, I think that this, it could use better articulation. Again, I don't think the DeSantis administration, look, I'm not speaking for them.
Yeah,
I'm just taking this letter and interpreting what it says and saying, I believe that they say, as presented, this course, didn't pass muster in the law that we just passed. Come back again, and we're willing to sit down and talk.
Right. David Urban, Bakari Sellers, we'll see what happens, if anything. Thank you.